Yo, 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 what's going on? This is the NRW where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, the Adobro, the Babinka boy, the leader of the Holla Holla homies in the center, gang of the Show Pal Show, and of course, the NRW. Another interview. You know, I like to bring out amazing, talented folks out here running these streets, inspiring us all. And I met an amazing cat in Jordan Purnell Jackson, aka JJ Jackson Art on the Instagram, Twitter, JP Jackson Art on the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We met at StellarCon because that's where the Stellar folk hang out, y'all. Shout out to my boy Kevin Hawk. But met this talented brother. He came through, told me all about his amazing work, and I got to peep it. And yeah, this cat is talented. He is all about the people. We really connected on like our own endeavors, and not only just creating art, but just using art to educate and inspire. And you're gonna love this conversation. So let me go ahead and bring this brother on the screen. Let's have some fun with my man Jordan Purnell Jackson. Boom! There he is on the screen. Jordan, I'm shooting off air horns. You're not hearing it right now because I don't want to deafen you, brother. So it'll be in post. Welcome to the NRW, bro.
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on here, bro. Appreciate it. Like I said when we first talked, it was great meeting you and hearing our stories. And
definitely.
So the parallels there.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You love to see it, man. And as I told you, yeah, I'm a bit of an older head. So seeing young brothers like you, man, out here utilizing their God-given talents to just kind of do their thing and inspire and educate and entertain all at that same time to show that we can do it. You know what I'm saying? That it isn't just a lot of white creators that are out here in this game doing it, that we can do this as well. So that other young brother, that other Filipino brother, that other Latino brother know that we are in here. We are making characters like ourselves because we are heroes too. Representation matters, brother. So I love it. I love to see it. And I'm happy we met and got to talk at StellarCon, man. I can see why Kevin added you as a StellarCon guest, because you a Stellar brother. Let's talk about what you got going on, man. Right now, I know you have a Kickstarter campaign for Yombani Chronicles, the genesis of a chaos master. Let's talk about that, man. How did that seed of an idea came to mind? I know you're a mad creative, and we're going to dig into that creative journey. But how did this new idea come to being? And tell me what sparked that off, and then, you know, the groundwork before this all got to rolling.
Gotcha. So for Yombani Chronicles, I've been working with a writer. His name's Rob Van Blake. So we worked together on like 3 graphic novels. First 2 were in a series called Ancient Illumination. And I met this guy at a convention, similar to I met you, and he hired me to turn his literary novels into graphic novels. And so I started up in 2019. And so we published 2 books in the past, 2-3 years. And then from there, he started writing a fantasy series and was like, hey, I need to turn this into a comic book. I was like, all right, bet. And this one was like really important to me because me and Rod had been talking about like the Orishas. So like behind me right here is one of my depictions of the Orishas. And so he created an entire fantasy series that focuses on them as a pantheon of gods. And so I got to bring my own flair and aesthetic to the Orishas and just like run with it and do my own kind of like fantasy take, which was a challenge, but it's beautiful being able to kind of reference like traditional African garments and religion and spirituality and trying to bring it into this fantasy world, because we don't get a lot of shine with that type of material. So I was like, oh, this is going to be dope. So I can't wait for everyone to see it. And so, yeah, it's been going really good so far.
Yo, I love that, man. Yeah, that's dope. So when you get like a project together like that and you bring your own flair to it, were you already somewhat knowledgeable? Talk to me about, like, you know, once you get on a project and, you know, doing that homework to get skilled to bring something to it, whether it be something, you know, completely out of your own head, or if you're wanting to actually mine and show love to the existing, you know, information that was already out there before that maybe a lot of people are a lot aware of. Because, you know, let's be real, like white society puts their own stamp on stuff when we know, like, it was only until like recently, well, maybe in the past 5 years, that I was like, yo, Lone Ranger was really a black dude. You know what I'm saying? Like there's black cowboys, real cowboys are black cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and a lot of people don't know that, you know?
Yep.
So talk to me about putting your stamp on it and mining and doing that homework. Cause I think I love that aspect of the creative game.
So for me, I like when I'm working on projects for clients, I like to bring my own nuance and spin on things. I do a lot of like research. I get very logical with things. But for Bonnie, I had already been developing this work about the Orishas. So I had developed this piece behind me in I think it was around 2020. And this book picked up in 2022. And so I'd already done some research. I just went on the internet and I started looking at picking up different books about the E.V.E religion specifically. And then that book pointed me to different artists. And so like I found a Brazilian artist that had already been making comic books about the Orishas. There was I think a black fine artist, his name was Stephen Hamilton, who has done beautiful paintings of the Orishas and just a lot of African textiles. So I was looking at this stuff and then I was reading a bunch of books. And then I'm like, all right, I want to take this, take that, and try to bring it into my own artwork and own style and talking about the Orishas just in space, just in this intergalactic world. And then so flash forward to 2022 when Rod had been writing his book. And then it was just like, let's just lock in and go. Like I already have the basic knowledge. I know about most of the Orishas, a few of them. So it was just like, we can just lock in, start getting things, start mapping out everything. I get to take Aleke beads and different things, cultural things, and kind of bring them into the design. So it's fun for me. So I scour the internet. I try to look for like different patterns and garments from different cultures. I try to get specific.
I dig that. All right. So for the uninitiated that probably don't know anything about this, what should people know about that concept and what you love about it so much? Let's talk on that just to school the people that aren't aware of the mythology. What made you fall in love with it? Just give us a little breakdown and then lead into the like what kind of flair that of the specific touch you're going to put into that mythology a little bit.
So for me, I was attracted to it because there was no knowledge. I wasn't taught about this. So I'm like, this is a part of this is like a part of my DNA. It's part of my ancestry. And it's like, the media hasn't shown it. So I want to do that work to show that. So I was like, we're making this happen. And so I just put all my effort in trying to find what I can. And then like, if I meet people who are part of these spiritual practices, I remain open-minded. I listen to them and just take in their information and be respectful because I'm new. I'm like a young person that's studying this and I'm not well versed, to the max, but do what I can.
So what is it that you do know?
So from
looking for the uninitiated, you found out about it, you got attracted to bringing it out more to the people because you enjoyed what you found out. You know what I'm saying? So what is it exactly for the uninitiated?
For me, like what was interesting to find out is that like there is this extensive pantheon that like represents all these different facets and things, like small things. Like there's multiple Orishas for water. Like it's not just one. Like there's just certain layers to it, and there's also a supreme being. And I'm like, what? I'm like, there's a connecting thread. So I was like, this is like it's super interesting and expansive. So I'm like, there's like so much to kind of dig into and connect with. So this is a little bit of things, but like it's funny when you say initiated. I have to be initiated into like this practice, like in a traditional sense. Like I'd have to find like a sort of like a priestess that would take me in, and I would have to find a particular Orisha that governs my head, my mind, my body. So that's what I learned this year. I found out someone's like I think everyone has like an Orisha that governs their mind, their head. And Ori means I think mind or head. So that's what I've learned for now. So I got plenty of more things to learn.
Word. So you still learning. I love that.
Yeah.
I hope you don't feel like, bruh, this man's putting me on the spot to just like throw it out there. But like, because to be honest with you, I'm every day, and I'm an older head, learning about kind of like the same cultural significance and gods that my roots from the Philippines have.
Okay.
And I'm working on a project with Meta right now, and we're trying to bring those stories to life, which is just a true blessing for the next generation. So I'm learning every day, man. But yeah, just the cultural significance and just everything there. There's a lot to learn. So while I was throwing it on you, I was just also the curiosity for myself as well, because there's just so much, and there's also just different interpretations to a degree, and also just not even a lot out there, if you will. So you're having to put those puzzle pieces together. But I love the fact that you're doing that work, because now the next generation will at least have something that they can, look at, like with the work you're doing. So that's beautiful, man. So so let's talk again more about this Kickstarter campaign, Yombani Chronicles, Genesis of a Chaos Master. You got down with Van Blake. You're doing this project. So what exactly is it? It's a tell me what the exact product is going to be. Is it going to be like a floppy single issue run? Is it a collected graphic novel? Tell me what exactly this Kickstarter campaign is working towards.
So right now we're doing the first issue is going to be 32 pages, but we're also setting up to fund the next issue. And overall, story-wise, we're looking at a young kid named Ishmael. He's been granted powers by, I guess, the supreme deity Olorun, and he's taking the powers of Shango and Yamaya and putting them into the body of this little boy. He's kind of growing up. He's ostracized by his community, and he's trying to kind of discover his abilities. So we're kind of looking at that in the first issue, for sure.
So it's like a 30-page first issue. And you're also looking to fund the rest of the run. Is it is the story arc like like most graphic novels or volume 1 trades are like 4 issues and then they consolidate it into a trade? Are you looking at it through that lens, or just a continued ongoing like maxi series where like an 8-issue, 12-issue run collected trade? Just kind of curious on the creative level, like how far out is this projected story line?
So because these are all being adapted from novels, our usual flow is that like we're able to take 2 chapters of his novels and bring them into a graphic novel. So ideally that would be the goal, is to keep translating directly chapter to comic book issue. And then eventually it'll be more of a compendium at that point, bringing all these comics together, because I think his chapters are like 20, I think he might have like 20, 25 plus chapters in his books. Okay. So there's a lot of stories.
Oh, definitely.
And then side stories. So there's a lot of content.
I love it. So there'll be a lot of floppies out there, or are you gonna? The goal is to just do a lot of single issues and then collect it. Maybe Okay. Yep. So a lot of stuff that people can look out for and read and share and trade, and entertain and educate. So Kickstarter campaign is live right now.
Yep. We're actually we're 113% funded, I think.
Hey, so we already know it's funded then. But we still need more.
So what we're doing now is we're gonna have a stretch goal where people can get my comic book. That's my comic, the E.V.E. Insurrection. And so I'll have this variant cover that will be given to people who physically back the project. So we're trying to get to 6,000, and then we're gonna get that out to people as well. So yeah.
There we go, y'all. The Yombani Chronicles, Genesis of a Chaos Master, the Kickstarter campaign, live right now. Let's show him love. Let's show support. I'll have the link in the description below, y'all, so you can go head over there after you watch this interview, and you can throw your money down on this campaign so you can get Yombani Chronicles for yourself and share it with your peeps. I love it. I love to see it, my friend. So we got that out there. But one of the projects that you and I met and talked about off the rip was E.V.E. of Insurrection. I finally got a chance to actually read that today, the day of this interview, just to get ready for this, brother. Tell me a little bit about that project before we dive even further back. We actually discussed this a little bit at StellarCon. Tell me about your personal project.
So this project came out of a love for cyberpunk. I watched movies like Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, Akira. Like I loved all of these like science fiction films and anime, and I never saw people like me at the center of the story. So I was like, I got to tell my own story. And then I was like, I wanted to focus on a Black woman because we don't see Black women present in a lot of cyberpunk things as lead characters. So I was like, that's where I'm gonna focus on that. And I really wanted to tell a story that course corrected the things that Batman couldn't fix. And because we always make fun of Batman being like basically this angry white man, and his family had so much wealth that they still could not fix the system at hand. They could not solve the problems. And so I wanted to tell my own story where a wealthy Black woman, her family has created that solution, and she's still trying to save her city because other corporations don't want to adapt or change. And we need to see like a real revolution, because revolutions have been happening across time in different societies. And I was reacting to the insurrection that happened on January 6th. And I was like, oh, this is when it seemed like all the white people in the world were like, the world's ending, America's ending. And me and the rest of Black Twitter are like, well, this is normal. This is America. This is what happens. And it's like, this is what you choose to riot about. And it's like, Black people, people of color in general, have been fighting for real change in equity for centuries. And it's like, come on now. So I'm honoring that through my futuristic story.
Gotcha. I dig it. Yes. I love what I saw. And we also got to talk about how you literally did everything in that joint. You know what I'm saying?
And yes, that part. That part, yeah. The big part.
Talk to me about like, okay, you conceived the idea, you put pen to pad or fingers to keyboard, if you will, because we are in a different generation. I'm an older head, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of cats ain't writing like old school in their notepad anymore. They're putting fingers to keyboards. But tell me how long the process took you, from conception to realization to production and post and getting it all out there. And would you do it again? Do everything like you did?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll end off on that. It started off, the idea was like ruminating. It was just marinating in my head for like since 2015, but I had just kept pushing it away and doing other things. And then around 2021, no, more so 2020, I was like, I want to write my own story and tell my own story. And so I spent 2021 writing for about 4 months. And then I spent another 4 months illustrating to get it published by November of 2021. And it was a lot. I had hired an editor, and that didn't go too well. Someone who was like similar to me, doing a lot of different things, but they were marketing my book, trying to get me like other people to work with me for my project. And that was my first time like spending money on someone to do contract work. So I was like, all right, I don't have to hire an artist because I'm the artist and the writer. So I'm like, let me invest in someone who's going to market and edit. And that didn't go too well. It's just Jordan on that.
Before we leave from that, because I like to give lessons to young cats, like us that are older, other creatives. You know what I'm saying? Lessons learned of what things to look out for. What like with the high signs that hey, this ain't right. We got to switch up. That you would recommend to anybody that you learned by doing what you did.
Oh, there are plenty. So what I would say, the big lesson I learned is to properly vet who you're working with. I should have thought of that in the beginning, but you really got to vet who you're working with. And if you have a bad, like a gut feeling that this isn't going to work, and there are these kind of red flags that you two are not aligned, I'd say don't work with that person. Like, it's just, don't do that. And so I would not do that again. And going into my second project, the E.V.E. Reclamation, I hired another editor this time, much more affordable. And it was an immediate like connection alignment. Like she was super into like the same anime manga style type stuff. And she also is a professional copywriter. So my new editor is Nikki Steele, and she's been able to like actually take my words and expand upon it and like make it better. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm like a director now. Like I don't have to like put so much of my energy into like perfecting my like dialogue. I have someone to help with that, because that's something I kind of struggled with in the beginning. But properly vet people, and when you align with people and it's genuine and real, like follow that, because that's like powerful stuff.
Dig that. Hell yeah. Definitely agree with all that. All the years in my game, woo, you got to fail a lot to learn. Let me tell you.
I'm 28.
You know?
I mean, that was I'm young, so I was like, all right, this is my first lesson here. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Better
First
off now
lesson.
than later. I'm telling you.
Yes, that's what
Real
I'm
talk. So awesome. So you put it together, you dropped it. I love the Afrofuturism, you know, that you're putting in there. I will say it's so you had, you know, I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil, but like the one thing I have to say, and I say this with all my other fellow POC creatives, is like we kind of put a concept together to talk on what we're experiencing and feeling right now and put it in our own words. And like what you were saying in regards to, you know, your feelings after the January 6th, you know, insurrection and all of that, and just other vibes that you wanted to, you know, put out there. But like, if we can't have like when it's us, you know, don't you feel like we want to escape in our art, right? But at the same time, we still bring our real world experiences into the art, which is good. And I do the same thing.
Yes.
But like when it's the future concepts, which like, man, I want the future to feel bright and shiny, and we're supporting each other as a community instead of us going against each other in different ways. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
I have this like fight with myself every time, because when I watch things, like I want to see the real world reflecting it. Like when I'm looking at something and a part of me just wants to see a little bit of like when I'm watching a film, and like if you let's just take a black character and put them in a sea of white faces, I'm like waiting for something racist to happen, just something. And and it's part of like that realism, because that is the world that we live in. But at the same time, we do have to push past that. So for me, like I have to do things in phases or like in different chunks. So I have to tell a story that captures the racism, the negativity, different problems we have in the world. I have to get that out. And then I'm also going to show you like, hey, this is what a perfect world looks like. This is what a better world looks like. And that's actually all within my book. It's just, you've seen a piece of it. I haven't shown you like the whole, this is what a utopia looks like, where like black people are in control, but we're helping out other communities. So we can tap into the Filipino community and be like, hey, we got y'all what y'all need. Like we're all connected. These elements are in the story. Yeah. But I'm intentionally showing you certain things on purpose. But it's all there. It's all there. I know what you're looking for.
You. I know. I dug the first joint. Like I said, I read the E.V.E. Insurrection. But just like when like we're battling each other, but I understand the concepts of your story. So I know there's more to be told and more to be read. But like, damn it, man, I think it's all of us as creatives, especially when we're doing futuristic stories. And it just, I wouldn't say hate's a strong word, but like because we are living, you know what I'm saying? Like with all of this, that it creeps its way in when we also want to escape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just sucks, man. You know,
sorry, bro. I mean, it's what it is. It is like it's room to create both.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Both. And I know that, like, I know when the time comes, like, I could create some wild stuff that pushes past the limits of like humanity. Like I want to go past. Like I agree with you. Like escapism needs to be there, but it needs to be a balance. It's a balance for me. It's always about the balance. But I understand your. I'm trying to find the right word. Your it's not a gripe. I'm trying to find the right word. But
it's not a gripe.
It's not really a gripe either. I don't know.
And to be honest with you, for real talk, we can't know the difference if we don't illustrate what the difference is. People won't understand it or appreciate it even more until we give them that difference. So, yeah, it's just like, man, when I think of a futuristic dystopia that I'd love to see in us as a community, it's just, I guess, Star Trek, where we all unified universally, right? You know? Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
so let's bring it all the way back.
Right.
Let's talk about how my brother Jordan Purnell Jackson kind of came into being a young creative. Let's talk about your journey, brother. Where you Baltimore, did it start in Baltimore? Take me back to place of your birth, becoming a creative, a young cat. Tell me what your parents would tell me about a young Jordan Purnell Jackson, ages 1 through 10.
Oh, 1 through 10.
Where you born? Tell me about what were you into? The spark of imagination coming off in that head.
So I grew up in Baltimore County. I grew up literally on like a mile away from the line between the city of Baltimore City. And so my parents grew up in Baltimore City, but moved out to the county and raised me there. And I was that little kid that was like drawing on walls. I drew a lot of Power Rangers. When I was 10, I took a DC Encyclopedia book and I drew every single page with every superhero on it at the age of like 10. And my parents were like, I don't even know how I got into an art magnet middle school. So when I was young, I was like drawing. So I was learning how to draw academically, like realistically, like drawing shoes and still lives and people. And I did that. And then I went to high school for art, and that's where I learned painting. And I'm like, oh, we're stepping up now. And so I learned how to do oil painting, which was difficult. But once I got it, I was like, oh, this is fun. So I was doing a lot of Afrofuturistic stuff in high school when it wasn't considered a thing. So I was like drawing myself fighting robots, dealing with kind of like spirituality, the same concepts I'm dealing with just like this idea of like enlightenment through technology. So like that was my phase where it was like me being enlightened through technology. So I did all that type of stuff. And then when I decided to go to college for animation.
So yeah. So what is it that you saw that inspired that? I'm curious. Like what were the what inspired the creativity? Like was it certain things you saw in cinema, books? Like I'm curious the people that you idolize or look up into that, kind of, you follow maybe stylistic wise or just inspirational.
Transformers, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Power Rangers.
You can throw Power Rangers in there. Digimon, literally like every Saturday morning cartoon that I had, that's what I was watching. My dad got me into Transformers. He was like, son, you need to watch Generation 1. And I cried in that movie. I was like, oh, the greatest. And that was a really good movie. But these are the things, like my dad's the nerd. So he like put all these ideas, he gave me all the content to look at. And so that's what really fueled me to like creating comics, doing animation, all that stuff.
Okay. So high school, like you said, you started taking it to another level. And then what I saw, one of the schools you graduated from, Micah. Talk to me about, high school. Actually, you know what? I asked this question in Show Pal Show, my Filipino show. And I want to bring it in here because I think there's cultural significance in regards to this question. Because as Asians, right? It's okay to to get into the creative arts as a hobby, but it isn't something they want us to do for a living. We get pushed, especially as an immigrant too. You know what I'm saying? As immigrant cats, and just it's like you can do it for fun, sing or whatever, dance, all that artistic, but you're gonna be a doctor, you're gonna be a lawyer, you're gonna be an engineer. Right. We get pushed into the big money type of, those roles, because again, it's all about giving back and taking care of the next generation and just all of that. They want us to, be successful, quote unquote. And that's the only vision that they see to be successful is being a lawyer, doctor, engineer. So we get pushed away from the arts, even though that could be what's going to take us to that next level. That happens obviously in high school where you're choosing where to go off to school and majors wise. So take me back to that high school moment. So it seems, from what I understand, as you said, your dad pushed you and encouraged the arts. But was that
my mom as well?
The same way there when you're getting ready to graduate and choose where to go to school at?
So like both my parents, like I said, both my parents pushed me at a young age to create art. My mom was like, you should be an engineer. And when I was in high school, I'm like, I don't know about statistics and data and analyzing things. I mean, I'm good at math, but no, I want to make things. I want to draw. I'm going to create things. I'm going to draw things. And so like my parents just let me do my thing. They trusted me. They were like, just get a job. Get a job. You got to get a job thing. But they really like most parents, they were worried about like even when I got out of college, it was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do to survive?" And I was like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I can make this art thing a living. And survive. I can live off. I can survive and live and thrive. That's the goal. So
I love that. All right, so you choose Micah. Talk to me about going to Micah. What did that do for you? Certain lessons that maybe you didn't know before that helped formalize it, or did it kind of take away from creativity? Because sometimes, a structured education and certain things can take away from that freestyle thinking, outside of the box thinking in certain ways, right? Because I know cats that got adversely affected by certain routes that they took in their creative endeavors. Talk to me about that and what you learned, what you found for yourself, especially for these young cats that are watching this and choosing their paths into the arts, if you will.
So for me, because I've been in this sort of, I call it a pipeline. I've been in the pipeline for a while. So college is just like another, it was like another notch on the belt. It was like, all right, what are we going to learn? Like, I want to learn something new. I'm going to show up every day. I'm here to animate. So I'm going to learn the process. I'm going to make what I want to make. So I was like doing short films every year. It started out crappy first go around, but every year I was refining my storytelling skills. But for me, college allowed me to really like focus on that, because if I didn't go to college and didn't have that kind of outlet at time and space to like just create all this work and build these skills, I would not be here. I don't know where I would be, but I would not be here right now if it wasn't for going to college, focus on the art, continue to focus on my craft and developing these skills. Because all this stuff that I've learned in 16 years is how I've been able to create the work that you see today.
That's dope. That's dope. I love that it was beneficial for you. Because again, everybody has their own journey.
And that's what I tell people. I'm like, college is not for everybody. Like I was good at school. Like for me, that I like having the structure and consistency, but like it's not for everyone. Like you just have to like it's an institution. If you don't fit within that mold, then it's like it's not going to be conducive. And I tell people like, if you don't have the money or bread, you should not spend it spend it on that type of stuff. But like there are easier ways to get arts education and get it cheaper. That's like the reality of it all. Like you can save your money and still build your skills up.
I feel that. I love that, man. I love that. All right, what would you say are the top 3 lessons you learned in school?
In school?
Yeah.
Proof. I mean, it's connected. We got to connect school with like graduating and experiencing life.
Okay.
It's all connected. I think
let's lead from there, like school into then graduation, real world, put them all together.
I learned the big takeaway was networking and just make like, you don't know who you're going, like you could be talking, like your friends could be people that can give you jobs in the future. That was my life. The people that I became friends with offered me job opportunities. Like, hey, Jordan, somebody needs an animator for this. Can you do that? Yes. Jordan, this production company is looking for black animators. This is a black-owned company. You should work for them. Hey, I'm going to follow after that. So, like, a lot of the people that I became friends with are the people who have been supported, like, been major supporters and, like, helping me kind of advance my career. So that was, like, a huge takeaway. There's also another lesson is that about expectations. Because when we come out of school, we have this expectation of, like, who we think we want to be. And it feels like life shows us something different. And it's like I didn't expect to be making comic books. I thought I was going to be doing animations and doing short films, but I ended up getting into the comic books. So there's this sort of, it's almost a sort of open-mindedness you need to have when you leave. Like when you leave, like, hey, things can change. Like it's not supposed to be like this isn't the end all be all. Like life can still be thrive. You can be happy if you deviate outside of like your major or do something different. Like you can find happiness and joy in life. And so I feel like those have been the major takeaways. And then just, consistency. That is a huge key. It was consistency. College was another avenue for me consistent. And I think consistency is what allows us to build up our talent and just to stay connected with people in our work, like constantly putting stuff out there. And it shows people that we're serious and we matter. We care about what we're doing.
I love all of this. I love all this, man. All right. What that also I had a question that was starting to happen after you were listing all these great replies to me just now. What did you major in animation wise? Like what did you go to school for? But then you find yourself in comics in regards to like animation. Like what type of animation and all of that?
I was 2D animation guy.
Okay.
I was like, I'm drawing everything. I'm hand drawing it. It's going to be on a computer, but it's like the whole 3D modeling, the whole
texture. Oh, so did you get in 3D as well?
Visual effects. That I know some things. Okay. But I am not as skilled when it comes to draw. Like it's not on the same level as like my drawings or like my 2D artwork. So I was naturally like, I'm just gonna draw everything. It's cool. This is what we're gonna do. So 2D animation for the most. That's what I did. 2D animation.
I love it. All right. Reason I ask, and as you were saying all these great words and telling me everything about what you learned, and I love all these nuggets because we're coming off of Thanksgiving, recently as of this recording. I found out that my nephew, who I know loves everything that I do because I've been to Pixar. I've interviewed a lot of artists and animators, over the years. He wants to eventually work for Pixar. And he told me over Thanksgiving that he wants to go to the Dave School that's down in Orlando, Florida. That's I forgot what Dave stands for, but it's like he wants to pursue 3D animation. And so I put out like on my Twitter feed and IG and Facebook, like, hey, my animation industry friends, give me some recommendations of schools and just things that my young nephew should learn and look out for. And so everybody's been contributing and sharing their knowledge. And so I can't wait, Jordan, to share this interview between you and I with him. I think he's going to get a lot out of it. So I guess I also want to thank you for that insight as well. But yeah, maybe, before we go to my next question, what would you say to the young brother, my Jamaicans in my family, my young black animator nephew right here, wanting to get into this game, wanting to do 3D animation. One of the big things, one of my animator friends over at, I forgot what studio he's with. I think he went to SCAD. Said, go do 2D first, like what you did, as well, to really get that 2D foundation before you really go hard with 3D. Would you have similar recommendations? What would you say?
That's just, yes. At the end of the day, like, you need to know how to draw. That's just the fact of it all. Like, you need to know how to draw. You need to know anatomy. You need to know composition. All these things are important because your nephew, if he understands the principles of animation, if he understands composition, he could do visual effects, but he can also do storyboarding. He can do visual development. Like, he can do all these different aspects of the animation pipeline, and that makes him desirable because he can pivot and move.
All right, Jaden, I know you're going to be watching this because I'm going to send it your way. Jaden, listen up. Listen to my man Jordan, and I can maybe put y'all in touch so my man can maybe share some ideas and love with you with the industry and the struggles and what it takes. Pay attention. All right, so creative blocks. When you hit a block, talk to me, Jordan. What do you do when you find yourself, man, I got this thing I got to finish up, projects due this date. How do you overcome them, and what do you do to get re-inspired maybe?
So I used to joke with my art friends, but like, I don't ever get artist block. What are you even talking about? But I actually suffer from like I suffer from more of like burnout, like overworking myself because I have this ability to like generate ideas. So I like had to like put more, like I had to put a blocker on myself. I had to put limitations. I had to put the leg weights on and be like, Jordan, focus. One thing, not all the things. Just slow down. It's like taking a chill and slowing down. And for me, it's about resting. Less of a like, I need to rest more because I'm so active, and I need to step away from the work that I'm doing and just experience the world. And then lately I've been out of like writing, and because I'm not doing it, I have like this energy is building up where it's like I need to write. Like I was like the hunger is building. Like I need to get back in the lab and start writing. Like it's for me, it's a very different experience, but it's more about resting and finding ways to take breaks within creation, because it's like my second nature. It's like how just what I do.
Dude, I feel that so deeply, man. Because again, like, I think when we talked at Stella, we go hard. We go hard.
Yes.
There's just so many things we're trying to do, because because I'm older, like I feel there's so little time left, and then my daughter's getting older, and I just want her to have these things and opportunities. I want to create those opportunities. Right. So what are some of those wrestling things you do? Because I needed to do that. Again, I feel you in every way about that. Do you like to travel? What are some of the things you do? And then maybe creatively, getting the other mix, right?
So for me, like I'm a homebody. Like my wife is trying to get me to travel. I understand it now. I'm like, oh, this is why you want me to travel, so I can like actually like enjoy things.
Yeah.
But like for me, my natural habits, behaviors, go-tos would be to just like build Gundams. So behind me, that's like my collection. That's my stress reliever. I found that out last year. I was like, oh snap, I gotta get back into this. Okay. But like just doing something else, stepping away from it, taking walks in the park, taking walks outside, just getting some fresh air, going out and just hanging out with people, socializing, and just like literally just existing, just not thinking about the work.
Yo, that's real talk right there. Because I feel, and I don't know if I talked to you about this at the show at Stellar. Like I feel like I'm the worst friend, because I'm so again going so hard and trying to make things happen that I don't put that same time that I'm in the work with the people that I care about and love and appreciate. Because I'm always trying to be a better father, be a better husband, and a better friend. Because just when you go so hard at these dreams, you push things to the side. Let's be real. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We're doing that.
Yeah. I fully understand. I understand. And so I've had to work on that over the past couple of years, like just setting aside time for like my family more, not hiding behind the work, not overly investing in the work and saying like, hey, you need to like be with your family. Hey, they're not going to be here at some point. Like you gotta be there for them. And so I was like, all right. Started clicking in my brain more, like it's okay. And I don't like, it's funny when you say like you don't have a lot of time. That's how my brain works. Like I'm only in my late 20s, but like I still felt like I don't have time. And so I had to like kind of coach myself, like Jordan, like all the people I work with in their 40s, and they're like, Jordan, you got time. I'm like, all right, I'll accept that. I got to accept that now. All the 40-year-old heads are like, hey, we're in our 40s and we're building out our own IPs and writing our own stories. And I'm like, I'm 12 years younger and I'm like already doing it. So I'm like, I got time. So I got to relax. Everything's going to work out. So I got to, and then now that I've accepted things are going to work out, I can just go forth in the world and be like, all right, if money is allotted, we can go places. We can relax. Like it's okay. So yeah.
There we go. I love it. I love to see, especially a young cat like yourself, man, handling business, man. Because, I've been ups and downs and losses and lessons learned. I love where your mind's at and your motivation and just the work that you're trying to do. So let's talk about again, because we go hard in the paint. We got so many ideas. What's next? Like we said, we have the Yombani Chronicles. That you got. Again, I'll have the links in the description below. You have your E.V.E of Insurrection and all these other stories. But what else is on the plate that outside of these projects? What are the goals? Like, do you want to work at some of the other major studios? Do you want to put your hands on some certain IPs that are out there? What are just some of the things that you're looking forward to or wanting to do in the future that as my fans are now becoming your fans and are seeing this interview, they're now going to be charting your journey on this path. I want them to be like, as soon as that thing pops, be like, yeah, I remember when he was on talking with Kuya P, and now he's doing it. Look at my man. Let's go. Tell me about what you have in mind down the line.
All right, there's like three major things. I'm very I'm the type of person when I commit to this idea or thing, a way of life, that's my thing. So I'm always going to be about the indie thing and indie creators. And my goal is to get actually into educational programming. So I want to literally teach. I want the little kids to know, like, hey, you can make your own superhero, and that's more important to me. That's like to generate that creativity and that uniqueness within young minds is paramount. Like, that's important. Second thing is to get my work, anything that I make, adapted into an animation or film. That is like the utmost goal. So if Yombani Chronicles becomes a film in the future or animated series, my name is going to be up there with the creator. Like, I want to be attached to those projects. So it's constantly seeing the evolution of my clients' work and then my own work to be in those spaces. But yeah, education and adapting these works into animated and TV film. So that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you could put your hands on any other person's IP, if Marvel started hitting you came to your door, DC needs a lot of help. If DC was like,
apparently,
what would you want to put your hands on maybe out there?
Batman would be too easy because I already like Batman. Like, that's the trap. Like, I'm writing my own story that is a commentary on that, so I don't even want to pick Batman.
Batman or Batman Beyond?
Oh, Batman Beyond. There we go.
Hey.
Yeah. If they wanted to, so right now I think they're having artist Nicholas Draper Ivy. He's doing
homie. Shout out Static, to my boy Nick.
Static and the Batman Beyond. Was it Static Beyond? Or is it Batman? Whatever. We're seeing Batman. He's illustrating Terry McGinnis. I'm like, whoa, now that's cool. That is dope. So yeah, it will be Batman Beyond, something in that vibe, like a futuristic. Yeah, that's it. It will be that.
Okay, I could see it. I could see it. Yeah. Having seen and read and enjoyed your work, brother, I could definitely see that. Would love to see you put your fingers on that and do a little something with it. That would be nice.
You got my gears turning. Now I'm trying to think about
I love it. Well, keep them gears turning, because my very last question. Again, thank you for your time, brother, sharing your knowledge. Again, Jaden, pay attention, because that young brother is so talented, and I can't wait for him to follow in your footsteps like yourself. My last question is, if you were to give a nerd TED style talk on something, right? What would it be about? And it can't be stuff we already know. It can't be about Afrofuturism. It can't be about Batman Beyond. It can't be about Gundam, because we already know that. What is something that the people don't know? Maybe even some of your close friends and family don't even know, that you really go hard in. And it doesn't have to be your traditional pulp culture stuff. I've had some cats come on here being talking that they know like tax law like nobody's business, and what? Just weird shit. Like something is of interest that people don't know, that really gravitates towards you, and something that you really picked up on your own that really a lot of people don't know about, but you got some kind of insight on and you could talk on it. What you got?
Cults.
Grind those gears.
Cults. I have this huge fascination with cults.
ULT.
Yes.
Like mystic type.
Like, no, I mean, I'm not saying mystic. I mean,
or religious cults.
Yes. It's it's not even just religious. You had like oh gosh, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Like you had like a science fiction cult that was in the 90s, I think it's called Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
And you remember it? Yes. Very interesting. So it will be about cults. I don't know.
What made you get into the whole cult thing then?
Because I think it's interesting.
There's a lot of documentaries on Netflix.
There's so many documentaries on cults, but it's something interesting to see, like how human beings give so much, like they sacrifice their identity, their values and beliefs, and surrender that to like a person or another concept that's new, and they genuinely believe that this is the truth, and that's what's compelling to me every time I watch it. And it's like, but it's the same thing, and I try to pick out like what are the commonalities of like how do people get into cults, what are they going through, like are they like that, those type of elements are always interesting. I'm like, I keep watching this stuff.
I feel you on that. I've been pulled into. I love watching documentaries. I love, just the human mind is interesting, right?
Yes, yes, fair.
It's crazy. Real people, there's so many evil people out there that have that don't hold a candle to certain slasher movies in a certain way, right? Like real people are even more evil than what we see.
Oh, yes. And that's wild. Yeah.
So I feel you in that. So that's a good one. That's a good one there. I appreciate that. All right, Jordan. Thank you again for your time, all this knowledge we drop in and sharing. As I tell everybody that comes through, now that you're part of my family by coming through, by talking and sharing yourself, I would love to have you back as you drop other projects so we can give you love and light and give you your flowers to support you. And again, I'm gonna have all the links in the description below, y'all. So make sure you click subscribe to JP Jackson Art on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. And just I'm gonna throw it back to you, Jordan. Again, the links are in the description below, but a lot of times people are driving as they're listening to some of my interviews sometimes. So for those that are driving, just any last words, throw them socials out there again. Let's keep throwing it at these people's heads so they can show you love and support you and all of that.
Well, Kuya P, I want to say thank you, bro, for having me on here. Like this is great. This is a good conversation, and thanks for having this platform. Everyone, you can follow my name's Jordan Purnell Jackson, or you can call me JP, and you can follow me at JP Jackson Art on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And my website is jpjacksonart.com. So if you want to purchase any book, comics, artwork, I have everything all on there. So that's where you can find me.
There you go. Jordan Purnell Jackson, JP Jackson Art. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Until the next time, love y'all. We out here. Blah, blah.
Hey everybody, I'm Jordan Purnell Jackson, the owner of JP Jackson Art, and I was just chilling here with Kuya P on Nerds Rule the World, and we're talking about my journey, and I'm promoting E.V.E Chronicles, which is Kickstarter we have live right now, and we're looking for y'all support. And it was awesome being on here with Kuya P. And check us out at jpjacksonart.com and follow me on Instagram at jpjacksonart, as well as Twitter and Facebook. Peace.